Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I'm gonna be taking you guys on how I created this gorgeous glam on my beautiful dark skinned model. But first things first, if this is your first time stopping by, please don't forget to subscribe, like, share, comment, and turn on post notification. So when I post more tutorials like this, you'll be the first to get to know about it. Now let's get into this glam. So first off, I always clean my model or my client's face. I always say that the your canvas has to be clean before you start any process you want to start. So the canvas in this sense is my model skin. So after cleaning with my micellar water, I went in with my hydrating spray from Blossom Cosmetics. After my spray, I went in with my premium hydrating serum. This is a Korean hydrating serum. It helps to bring moisture to the face. Because I'm going for a hydrated look. I'll be using three different serums for my skin prep. The second serum I'm using in this video is from Blossom Cosmetics. This is their snail mucin. Because I want to bring some moisture to the body as well, I had to apply some of the serum to the body. Now I'm going to work this in with my hands just to make sure that it gets well absorbed by the skin. After that, I'm going to go in with another serum from Blossom. This is the hyaluronic serum, hydrating serum from Blossom. It contains hyaluronic acid and helps to add more moisture and hydration to the skin. So as usual, I like to work in my skin preps with my hands. So I'm just going to work that in with my hands until it is fully absorbed by the skin. Then I'm going to go in with my moisturizer. My moisturizer is also from Blossom Cosmetics. It's safe to say that most of my hydrating steps I always use Blossom Cosmetics. So for my primer, I'll be using the Kevin Aucoin Hydrating Primer. This primer helps the face look more soft and ready for your foundation and whatever you want to apply next. It gives the skin a little more shine. So for my foundation, I'll be using the Blossom Veil Foundation. I love this foundation because it's very easy to apply, true to tone, and the undertones are very beautiful. And this was my first time trying it out and I wasn't disappointed. So I always apply my foundation using a brush. This is to aid easy blending and to get fuller coverage. When you apply with a brush and then you blend with a bigger brush, it helps you achieve fuller coverage without having to use so much product. Using beauty blender takes up some products even though you don't notice, but it does. So I always like to use my brush. This brush is from Nia Beauty and it's one of my favorite foundation brushes of all time. Now after my foundation, I'm going to go in with my um cuff case by Mitchelle. This is this is a contour and bronzer and blush palette. It's a contour, bronzer, and blush cream product, all in cream forms palette. So I took the darker shade for my bronzing, and then I used a smaller brush to apply this. And if you notice, while I applied a straight line, I also tried to fade it into the cheekbones. Then I applied it directly under the brow bone and the forehead area. This is just to make sure that the face is well contoured. Now for blending, I used this brush from Real Technique. It's an old brush I've had for years and it has been serving me. So when you're blending, you want to make sure that you blend it upward So when you apply your blush, it will sink together. Understand? So you don't end up having harsh lines. And always remember that the one under your brow bone also have to blend it towards the hairline, and the one on the forehead also blend towards the hairline. Now that is done, I'm going to go in with the blush before going in with my concealer. For the blush, I'm still going to use the blush from the Curve Case palette. I already took it and applied on my pan before using my brush to pick it up. This is just to help it blend easily, because when you take directly from the palette, you might not really be able to blend it completely. So taking it on a pan also helps stop the spread of germs. This is also a foundation brush, a small foundation brush as well. So I'm just trying to blend this in and make sure that it is well blended before going in with my concealer. My concealer is from Too Faced, so I'm also taking the product and applying it on my pan, so I don't have to use the what's it called, the brush from the concealer to apply directly on the face. Now I'm using my small concealer brush to apply this concealer on the areas I want to highlight. That is under her eyes, her jaw, her forehead, the bridge of her nose, and just above her lips. Now this brush is from Younger Beauty. It is a very good concealer and powder brush. Like, it's a multifunctional brush. It can serve different purposes. So today I'm using it for my concealer. I usually use it for my eyeshadow as well, or whatever I want to use it for. Now to blend my concealers, I like to use my beauty blender, because I want to have a more natural finish. So using your beauty blender will make your cream products to blend in better when blending. If you use your brush, it will take up less product, so that means you're having fuller coverage, but it won't really give you a very nice natural finish, which is what I'm aiming for. So after blending, I'm going to try to set the under eyes. Now first of all, I used my MAC setting powder, I think in N50 something, I've forgotten, but I'll write the shades in the what's it called, description box. So I always use a pressed powder to set first before going in with setting powder. This will help give a smoother base for your setting powder to stay on. Okay, so, and you always try to make sure you use a smooth powder for this. So, and I tried not to use a powder that is too bright. So this one is almost close to our shade. Let's just say it's just like 2 shades lighter. So you apply it to all the areas you highlighted, and then blend it in as you're applying. I'm also using my powder puff for this instead of using a brush. Like I said, powder puffs gives more natural finish when it comes to powders and settings. Now for my contour or bronzer, let me say my contour, yeah, because she's dark. So for my contour, I'm using this bronzy palette from Glam. It has different shades and different undertones for different people. So I'm using the darkest shade to contour her forehead, her chin, and the bridge of her nose. This brush is from Blossom Cosmetics. I use different brushes, by the way. I have different brushes for different functions. I could buy a whole set of brush, and then maybe I'll just like maybe 2 or 3 in it, and that's all. I'm not even bother using the other ones in it. That's how I work sometimes. This other brush is from MK Beauty. I like how it gives me precise cuts when I'm contouring the nose area. So you're going to work this into the brow area using your more precise brush. Then you set with your setting spray just to bring everything together. And this is the palette here. So next I'm going to go in with my setting powder. Setting powder I'm using is from Newborn Beauty. So yeah, it's from Newborn Beauty. I already applied a darker setting powder from Merak Cinnamon. Unfortunately, merak is no longer in business, they've stopped production. So after that, I applied this setting powder just to highlight my key points where I want to bring light to. So moving on from that, I'm going to be using the remaining product from my Cuff Case by Michelle, the one I used for the bronze and the cream bronzer. I'm going to use it as my eyeshadow base because I'm going in for a smoky eye look. So I'll just use the brown shade I used for my bronzing or contour. I'm going to use it as my eyeshadow base so that when I apply my brown eyeshadow, it's going to give it that extra pop that I want. So this is me just blending in the brown eyeshadow into the lid. Remember, I used a dark brown color for the base. This eyeshadow I'm using is from Morphe. I think 3350 Supernatural. Yeah, that's what I'm using. I'm using the deep brown shade on the palette for this. Now I took the shimmer shade on the same palette, just using my hands to just tap it into the eyelid because I don't want something so serious. I want something very playful and flirty. So I had to just use my hand to pick up the product and apply it on the lid. After that, I'm going to use a precise brush to just clean off the crease area so that the shimmer does not get to the crease area. Then next, I'm going to draw my brows. That's after applying mascara on my lashes. So the mascara will be drying before I do the lashes. So next is brows. For my brows, I'll be using the brow gel from Hegai and Esther in shade Ebony. Because my model is very dark, I'm going to use this to outline the brows first before going in with a black pencil just to make the outline to pop. Okay, so this brush I'm using is also from Blossom Cosmetics. It's a small precise brow brush and it gets the job done. So I'm just outlining the outer areas before I start filling in with the same brow gel. Now I'm going to start filling in with my pencil. This is a brown pencil, by the way. um I like to achieve a very natural feel in the front area of the brows, so I always try to use a brown pencil for that front part before using a darker shade at the end of the brow just to give it that thickness. Now to conceal my brow, I'm using Kevin Aucoin concealer in I think shade 14. I like to use cream concealer for highlighting because for highlighting the brows because it gives fuller coverage and it makes the brows appear sharper. So I always like to use my Kevin Aucoin concealer. But if you have any good palettes, any good concealer palette, you can use the concealers from there. Yeah, concealer palettes or cream products, cream concealers, they help better for brows. So for the lips, I went in with a dark shade of brown first to outline the outer corners of the lips before going in with a nude shade. The lip palette I'm using is also from Blossom Makeup Cosmetics. So I use the nude shade in the inner corners after applying the brown shade in the outer area. Then I'm going to be blending it in with my brush just so that I don't have to do much work later on. So as I'm applying it, I'm blending it in. Next, I went in with this gloss. This is one of my favorite. This is my favorite gloss for dark skin. The shade is very deep, so it helps to give this very brown glossed lip. Yeah, so I like to use this gloss for my dark. use I like to use this gloss for my dark skinned clients because it really pops on their lip. So I also use the nude shade from the same lip lip gloss company. These two shades are my go-to for dark skins, and like I said, as I'm applying, I'm also blending, so I don't have to come back and start blending after everything. So next, I asked my model to smack her lips together so that the gloss will just blend. So after doing that, you want to use your concealer to conceal around the lip just to take out any concealer or cream product or liquid product that you've applied around the lip. Always remember to apply your powder too to set anywhere you apply concealer or foundation. Now for my lashes, I'm using these lashes from Von Beauties. Their lashes are very nice. It's very fluffy and I love them. So this is from her bridal collection. Just going to fix it on. Then for my powder, if you've been following me, you already know that I have a thing for Fenty beauty powders. I just love how it comes out, the skin like finish, the soft matte vibes and everything. So for my finishing powder, I used the Fenty powder, I think in 380. It's a very dark shade. My model is actually very dark. I don't know why it's coming out bright. Let's just say I didn't have a good lighting day that day. The lighting was not really good for me, but then at least I achieved something. So I'm just going to apply this powder all over the face, the areas I contoured, blush, nose, and then lightly on the areas I highlighted because I don't want to remove all the highlights on the face. Okay. Now after that, you're going to go in with your powder blush just to bring back some colors to the face because after applying your pressed powders, some of these colors were lost. So you just go in with your powder blush to bring back those colors, and then you apply your highlighter and set the whole face. Then you're good to go. For my highlights, I like to use the Fenty highlighter. Ever since I got this Fenty highlighter, I've not really tried any other brand and I'm really loving it. So I prefer to use a more precise brush for my nose, the bridge of my nose, and then for the apple of my cheek I use a small powder brush for that, and then it gives me what I want. Now for my setting spray, I'm using the Morphe setting spray to set the whole face together. Then I usually go in with an eyeshadow for under my eyes just to create an illusion of a darker eyeshadow. So what I do is I just use a precise brush, take some product on it, then apply it beneath, directly beneath our waterline to give it some fierceness. So this brush I'm using is also from Younger Beauty. Like I said, Younger Beauty has really nice brushes. So guys, this is the finished look. If you found this tutorial helpful, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment and share this video. Thank you very much for stopping by. See you in my next video. Bye.